Hi everyone, my presentation is going to be on how workload and stress levels relate. I've read a couple of articles, and the first one I found, there was a study of 137 people, and they were tracked for 2 weeks, looking at their workload and stress levels. So a quote that I found said, they conducted that the days of high and low workload resulted in people having a hard time leaving work at work when they got home and continued to think about it in a negative way. They woke up the next morning in a negative mood. So this means that they need to find the sweet spot regarding workload. The next article that I found talked about cognitive overload. So, high cognitive overload leads to simple decisions, and judgments are made more quickly, often based on limited cues or familiar patterns. So, when someone is overwhelmed, they don't think about the long term outcome of their decisions as much. The last one I found was about physical and mental strain. Mental strain can amplify the effects of physical exhaustion and vice versa, leading to the compounded burnout risk and decreased overall agility. So my hypothesis states, participants that complete the high workload option will report higher levels of stress than those who do the low workload task. The participants that would include family, friends, classmates, and other university students. They would have to be 18 years or older, and it would be both male and females. It would also be important to have about 100 or more participants. The materials include the low workload and high workload task. For Group 1, the participants would complete 5 easy to moderate math questions in 15 minutes. However, for Group 2, they would have to complete 15 easy to moderate math questions in 15 minutes. Afterwards, the participants would be asked on a scale of 1 to 10 how stressed they felt after completing their task. A 15-minute timer would be needed, math questions, and then finally, again, the scale, the stress level scale. The procedure steps would be a random assignment. There would be a consent form they would have to read and sign, and the instructions would be given and they would complete their task. Finally, the participants would be given a stress level scale questionnaire after completing to see if their stress levels were higher. The mean stress scores, I would find the average school levels of both groups and compare the results to see if the hypothesis was supported. The independent variable would be the workload, and the dependent variable would be the stress level. For the variable held constant, there would be the same time amount for both groups. My expected results include participants that completed the 5 math questions would feel less likely stressed while completing their task. However, the participants that did the 15 math questions would probably feel pressure to finish their questions in time. In one of the articles, I have learned about the stress performance curve. The stress performance curve is based on the Yerkins-Dawson law, which states that our performance improves as pressure, stress increases, but to a certain point. So if there is too little stress and performance, we are bored and there's no motivation. At just right, we have a high performance. But however, if the demands are too much, our performance will be overwhelmed. And here is my reference slide. Thank you for watching.